Good day, everyone. We are here to start to agree in giving the advantages about multiculturalism, how it become part in the midst of our modern and tolerant society today, and how we manage to strengthen and maintain peace even though diversity is the issue. These advantages of multiculturalism can not only improve the level of tolerance towards minorities in our society, but it can also help in an economic context. Life becomes interesting by accepting ethnic pluralism in our society in order to improve the living conditions of minorities and to increase the overall level of peace in many regions all over the world. Multiculturalism is an important part of a modern tolerant society. Our national identity is not defined by the race, color, or ancestry. We stand to all advantages as it leads to a more peaceful world, and also accepting the concept of multiculturalism promotes the equality of all people.
Good day as well, everyone. Our stand will be about the opposite, the disadvantages of multiculturalism. How even though it seeks to include everyone's views and culture and avoid exclusion and oppression, it still has problems regarding that. For instance, one problem is that it can lead to tensions between people with different cultural backgrounds. There are people out there who think that their way of life is the right one and that all other people should also follow the same lifestyle, which leads to problems. The next one is that there are people who find it hard to integrate the society. You see, if people move into another country, everything is new for them. And it can take time for them to adapt to these new conditions. Even if some of them are willing, some may not be willing to do so, which again could lead to problems. And finally, the language barrier. If people migrate to a country where they don't speak the language, they could suffer from isolation, since communication is a very crucial part to find work and or make friends.
So does this multiculturalism matter to us? It is that important? Well, yes, it matters and important. This encourage having to view unique perspective and understanding it while having a dialogue with people from diverse cultures. Multiculturalism will help our society to break the barrier between different ethnic groups, and instead, society must embrace that wholeheartedly. Appreciate diverse cultures and meeting different people while learning about their cultures will help in the enrichment of our lives. In our current or past generation, we already exposed to different ethnic groups. For example, if we eat Korean, Japanese, Chinese, or Spanish or any other food from different countries and take satisfaction in it, we already embrace and appreciate the elements of other ethnic groups. Furthermore, embracing and having a profound knowledge to understand individuals in other regions will give the advantage of socializing with them. Some of the advantages of multiculturalism are that people can quickly adjust to the environment in which they will live by practicing multiculturalism.
There are certain local tribes who are doubtful of multiculturalism. Why? The tradition might lose because they are about to embrace new culture. A lot of tribes accepted it, and few they stick to their own culture. Why? Because it will slowly lose if they embrace that new culture. For instance, if Fugaos resisted to become under the American and Spanish during the war. Why? Because they wanted to protect their culture, because if they accepted it, then their culture will slowly fade away. Another thing, multiculturalism could lead to radical movements. It is oppressing to those people who was forced to embrace multiculturalism because they knew that they will never know themselves deeply if they started to embrace new culture, and it already started in the modern world.
Advantage of multiculturalism is that we develop the necessary opponents and understanding to comprehend the culture and belief of individuals who reside in various regions. Racial prejudice declines with multiculturalism. People from different cultures can enhance knowledge about their own societies, which aids in the understanding the justification for particular customs and practices, regardless of how offensive or obscene that may be to some civilization. In order to improve a culture that might violate certain human rights or discriminate against members of the same culture, multiculturalism encourages coordinated efforts.
Multiculturalism can also increase the level of frustration of a certain people. It can affect in a variety of ways, including psychologically and physically. Another downside of multiculturalism is that the social tension in society may increase as well. If many people are qualified for a job due to multiculturalism, it may increase the unemployment rate. If the unemployment rate increases, it leads to a higher sovereign debt. So, why we would agree in multiculturalism if it has a bad effects in a country?
It can lead us to peaceful society and unity. Multiculturalism is important to be learned by everyone because it's a part of a personality of people around us. It will help us understand the reality of being multicultural, and it can also help us to know ourselves to what we believe. This can be also a basis to know our common grounds to get along. One of the advantages of multiculturalism is that we can learn different helpful things through different cultures. And we can make connections with people from many different cultures. Being a multicultural community can make us multilingual. Being able to learn other languages help us people to communicate more often and lessen the discrimination and racism in the community.
Yes, we can learn different helpful things through different culture. But there can be conflicts between people with different cultural backgrounds because there are also some people out there who think that their way of life is the only valid one and that all other people should also follow the same lifestyle. And yes, a multicultural community can make us multilingual. But one of the problems of the multicultural society is the language barrier. People with different ethnical backgrounds don't speak the same language as the same language of the country they migrated to. These people will suffer from the significant levels of social isolation. Also, speaking the local language is the crucial to find work and friends because they cannot understand you if there is a language barrier, and the chances are that those people will never become valued members of society.
Get ready for the next battle.
Multiculturalism seeks the inclusion of the views and contributions of diverse members of society, while maintaining respect for their differences and withholding the demand for their assimilation into the dominant culture. It encourages open-mindedness amongst different groups of people, and it dispels negative stereotypes. Multiculturalism is the solution of the cultural conflict of our one-to-one connections with each other are the foundation for change. And building relationships with people from different cultures is the key in building diverse communities that are powerful enough to achieve significant goals.
Many people are proud of their culture and do not want to accept other cultural attitudes besides their culture. People with different cultural and social backgrounds may have a hard time since they may not be accepted by the general public, even though they might try their best to integrate themselves. Also, some people have hard time integrating themselves into society. If people move to another country, everything is new for them, and it can take plenty of time to cope with that society, while many people are willing to integrate themselves over time. Some migrants may not be willing to do so at all, which can lead to significant problems for your society. Many people think that they will lose their cultural identity sooner or later.
In conclusion, these benefits of multiculturalism cannot only increase our society's tolerance of minorities, but they can also aid economically. This will encourage having a unique perspective and understanding it, while conversing with people from various cultures. We cultivate the essential openness and understanding to comprehend the cultures and beliefs of people from other regions. Multiculturalism is something that everyone should practice because it is a part of the personalities of those around us. And developing relationships with people from many cultures is essential for creating varied communities that are powerful enough to achieve big goals.
But also, in conclusion, one of multiculturalism's disadvantages is the possibility of social conflict brought on by factors such as culture, prejudice, injustice, inequality, religious, and philosophical convictions. This could result in a clash of cultures. We know that multiculturalism is the idea that several cultures may coexist in a harmony without an overarching framework or supporting mechanisms, which is untrue. How is it possible that's the case? That sums up the global scenario. And given the conflict that rife is there, how can that possibly work? If you're going to bring people together and they're going to exist together in a harmony, they have to be playing a game that everyone plays, that everyone knows the rules for. There cannot be different sets of regulations for each individuals. It's not going to work. If that worked, the world would not be full of war.
We are one, but we are different. We from all around the world. We share the same sun, we share the same oceans. We are every boy and girl. Come together and share our dreams. We'll be amongst the stars, and we know that it's destiny. And we are unity. We are unity.
I do believe, oh I believe